Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Texans Talk tonight. In this edition, we've got another game preview for you. Texans Cowboys preseason week 2. Lot to talk about in this game preview. Although before I preview our matchup against the Cowboys, I do want to just take a few moments to say some things I noticed from the Green Bay game, because I originally intended to do a post-game reaction video and go over some things I saw in the Green Bay game in a separate video. Didn't get to do that, so I'm sorry if you were looking forward to that. But a few things I noticed from the Green Bay game. Tyrod Taylor looked good in his drive that he played. Loved the chemistry he had with Chris Conley. I think Chris Conley, just based on what we saw in preseason, Week 1 is the early frontrunner to be the number 2 wide receiver on this team. I think the offensive line did some nice things. Charlie Heck was a guy who stood out to me in particular. And as far as Davis Mills is concerned, I think it was fine. I mean, there were definitely some throws where I was like, but, he had a couple nice deep throws where it was like, okay, maybe he didn't complete the pass, but it was a safe throw because it was either his receiver was going to get it or no one was going to get it. There was one I remember early in the game to Anthony Miller deep down the field. He was flushed to his right, but still got off a decent throw, and it was either Miller was going to catch it or no one was going to get it. So low risk, high reward throws right there. From Davis Mills. But then there's a couple throws, like he just kind of botched a screen throw to QT on a third down, and just sometimes I felt like he didn't get enough on his throws, but then there were also times where I felt like he really did make the right read. He went 11 out of 22, so completed 50% of his passes, so I wouldn't really call his preseason debut for us good or bad. I'd just say it was fine. Definitely, I think Coach Culley stressed this week. He wants to see more consistency from Davis Mills in preseason week 2 and moving forward. Because, again, there were flashes, there were good things last week, but it just really wasn't all together. But, hey, it's the guy's first NFL action. He's a third-round rookie. It's going to happen. So, best get those kinks out in the preseason, right? And then one more thing, Scotty Phillips looked good running the ball and defensively. Jonathan Greenard stood out. And also, Camus Grugier-Hill, I feel like he did some nice things. In coverage, guarding the running backs. I feel like he's going to be more of a coverage linebacker, maybe not as much of a blitzer, but more maybe QB spies or covering the running backs. He was a guy that stood out to me. So, yeah, those are just a few of my thoughts from the Green Bay game. Obviously, I have more, but I just wanted to touch on a few again. Sorry I couldn't get that video out for you, but now Texans, Cowboys, looking forward. My guess is that week 2 is going to kind of become the dress rehearsal week in the preseason for NFL teams, but with the 4-week preseason format, which we had up until this year. Preseason week 3 was typically the most regular season-like game. That was the dress rehearsal week. That's when the starters would play the most. But I think now it's going to be preseason week 2 just because it's kind of like preseason week 3 was 2 years ago, and before that it was the second to last week of the preseason. You got to a point where you've had a lot of the training camp battles. You have a pretty good idea of who your starters are going to be, but still, in case a guy gets banged up, it's not like they have, only a week or 10 days to recover before game 1 of the regular season. Preseason week 2 gives them a little leeway where they have more time to recover, but also it's not super early in training camp when you're still getting some kinks out. So I do think both teams will kind of treat this game as a dress rehearsal, or at least as close as they will treat any game to a dress rehearsal in this preseason. For the Texans and Cowboys, Coach Culley already said that pretty much everyone's going to be available to play, so obviously you just hope for no injuries on either side. Think we'll see some guys that we didn't see last week, guys like Brandon Cooks, maybe Jordan Akins, Pharaoh Brown. I don't think Pharaoh Brown got in. If he did, it was minimal. Obviously, running backs, we didn't see any of Mark Ingram or Rex Burkhead last week, so maybe they'll get in, maybe some Zach Cunningham, possibly Bradley Roby. I don't know, but you get the point. I think this is going to be a dress rehearsal week for the Texans. I think Tyrod will play more. I think we'll see Chris Conley again, hopefully develop some chemistry with Tyrod. And then we'll see who kind of slots in as that other receiver. I hope it's Nico Collins. I want to see more of Nico Collins. Obviously, we didn't really get to see him make a 50-50 ball catch, but that's what I want to see. I feel like that's what the Texans drafted him for, to be a downfield threat, because most of the Texans receivers are finesse, speed guys like Brandon Cooks, Anthony Miller, Kiki QT. But I feel like Collins was brought here to be a, kind of more of a physical, big body presence, although he looked kind of thin last week, but that could have just been the camera angle or something. He literally caught one pass. Hope to see more of him. But the bottom line, this is a dress rehearsal week, in my opinion. If you watch the Chiefs-Cardinals game on Friday night, you would have noticed that Patrick Mahomes was playing well in the second quarter. Kyler Murray played for the Cardinals as well. Travis Kelce and McCole Hardman were in to pretty much the end of the half. So you're getting some vibes around the league that this is going to kind of set in as the new dress rehearsal week, where starters will play the most. But also for the Cowboys, no Dak Prescott this preseason, barring anything unexpected. But for us, I'm just looking to see the first team offense. I want to see how Tyrod performs with more than one drive. I want to see if he could maybe, obviously the connection with Conley is great, keep doing that, but I want to see what he does with Brandon Cooks, because that'll be his number one target in the regular season, the Texans' best receiver. I'm looking for the run game to get going a little bit more. I feel like last week in Green Bay, we handed it off to Phillip Lindsay and DJ a little bit, but it wasn't really, a lot, and then before they know it, they're out of the game, and Scotty Phillips and Buddy Howell are in. So I just want to see the run game established a little more. I want to see the offensive line do a few more things, and I'm just looking to see our ones against their ones. I mean, obviously, might not be the complete, week one starting lineup out there for both teams, for the Texans offense and Texans defense, but it's going to be pretty close, at least to start the game, in my opinion. So I'm just looking to see how Tyrod fares against the Cowboys' number one defense. I'm really just kind of looking to learn more about our team. Again, we've got a lot of new faces, a lot of new personnel, so I'm just kind of eager to see how the starting offense looks for more than a drive. I mean, obviously, we'll get to Davis Mills in a second, but I'm just looking forward to watching our starting offense. But also the guys who didn't get a chance to play last week that I might have expected them to get a chance to play last week, but they didn't. Guys like Rex Burkhead, who I think, especially after the way Scotty Phillips played last week, I think he's kind of a bubble roster player. Could see him make the cut, could also see him not making the cut. Burkhead, a former Patriot. The Texans love those. Veteran player, been around the league a long time, been around a lot of good teams and good players back with the Patriots. I hope he gets a chance, because obviously I want him to have a fair opportunity to show what he has before he gets his fate with the Texans decided not long after. Same with Mark Ingram. I was really surprised by that. Unless there's some injury I don't know about, but I don't think there was. I hope Mark Ingram gets to play. I just feel like he's a guy, Ingram, that's really happy to be in Houston, really happy to be a role model and mentor for the younger players and to keep the positive vibes going in the locker room, as he does everywhere he goes. So I hope we see more of Mark Ingram, but obviously, I want to see Phillip Lindsay as the starting running back with the number ones. I'm a Phillip Lindsay guy. No disrespect to any of our other running backs, but I think Phillip Lindsay is the guy to be most excited about for the Texans this year. So I'm looking to see how he fares with the starting offense. I hope he gets reps with the starting offense, and I'm also hoping to see him break off some big runs, see him find an open hole and just go. That's what he did in Denver. That's what he did the best. He was a decisive runner, a smart runner, and an effective runner. And, he may not look like the fastest guy, but once he gets the motor going in open space, you'd be surprised. So looking forward to seeing Phillip with the first team. And defensively, I'm just looking to learn more about our new scheme. Just watching it on tape, sometimes it looks like we have a weird amount of guys on the line. Sometimes we're playing our cornerbacks up, and sometimes we're kind of leaving the middle area of the field, like the area for intermediate routes, like maybe 5 to 15 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. I feel like we're kind of leaving that open with our new defensive scheme. So I feel like slant routes and post routes might be our weakness with this new scheme, because, again, just kind of that area past the D-line and past all the players that are playing up, whether it be linebackers or quarterbacks, and then before the secondary level players like the safeties, just kind of in between there. I feel like that's going to be the weak spot of our defense. So slants, posts, and maybe like dig routes could be a problem. But again, I don't blame Lovie Smith for trying to instill a new scheme that involves a 4-3, more players on the line, more physicality on the line, and also more players just in the tackle box in general, getting some linebackers and even some cornerbacks to help out on the blitz, or sometimes at least pretend they're going to blitz, because our run defense was so bad last year. So I'm also watching for just continued improvement and continued learning about the Lovie Smith defensive scheme, looking at who's used where, especially, again, this is the dress rehearsal game. So that's pretty much it as far as the logistical standpoint. But as far as certain players I'm watching, obviously Tyrod, I want to see him with the first team guys. Phillip Lindsay, I mentioned. Davis Mills, like I said, I just want to see more decisiveness. I want to see him be more in control of the game. I feel like last week sometimes it just kind of felt like things were happening around him, but this week I'd like to see him kind of take command and be the alpha. I think he knows his own abilities. He's just got to learn to sometimes make the right read quicker, or sometimes get the ball to his receiver quicker. I think, he's a smart guy. He went to Stanford. He's smart, obviously off the field because of where he went, but also on the field. I think he's got a good football IQ, often has the right idea. just got to get up to game speed, get up to NFL speed. But again, that's not just a Davis Mills problem. That's often a rookie quarterback problem. You still have rookies like Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson who are almost certainly going to start for their respective teams playing in the preseason just to get those kinks out, just to get them up to NFL speed. So I just want to see Davis Mills be more decisive, more accurate with the football. And I just want the Texans to design a game plan around Davis Mills. We know the routes Davis Mills likes. He likes slants, he likes ins, he likes posts. He's a guy who wants the ability to work the middle of the field, to maybe not get it all on one play. If the deep shot's there, take it. But also he's okay with the methodical, time-consuming drives. He had those at Stanford. He's a good game manager. So I want to see that from Davis Mills. He's a player I'm watching. Nico Collins is another player I'm watching. I'd love to see him get some reps with the starting offense and maybe slide in to the number 3 receiver spot that is vacant right now because Anthony Miller is hurt. Although good news, he could be back by week 1 or 2 because the injury was not as bad as originally thought. Definitely watching Nico. Want to see some 50-50 balls. Want to see how he uses his big physical body like he had at Michigan. He was a deep threat. He was a jump ball guy. Want to see that translate to the NFL level. Offensive line, just continuing to see who might play where. Obviously, continuing to watch Justin Britt and Justin McCray, the new guys. Loved what I saw from Charlie Heck last week, so definitely going to be keeping an eye on him again. And then also some of the other depth guys like Cole Toner, maybe a guy we brought in free agency again. We signed a lot of people. So that's why I think it's ever important for Texans fans to watch these preseason games because we signed a lot of new people, and in some ways this team is unrecognizable compared to last year. Another player I'm watching is Brevin Jordan. He got limited action last week, at least in terms of the ball being thrown to him. I felt like he was out there. But Brevin Jordan, I think, is an absolute steal in the 5th round. I think that the potential's high for him. I think we've got a good tight end room. I think Akins has done some nice things. Pharaoh Brown is a guy that I think has got some physical talent. He's a workhorse tight end. He could take guys with him, bulldoze them over. Physical guy, willing to carry the rock and do the dirty work, even if it means, taking 3 guys with you on a tackle. Kyle Waring still hasn't really kind of panned out yet. Would love to see him make some nice plays this preseason. And then, of course, Brevin Jordan, the rookie. Always want to see your rookies in the preseason, especially when it's a late round potential gem like Brevin Jordan. So that's pretty much it for the offense. I mentioned a lot of things I wanted to say about Mills. Then defensively, I'd love to see some Zach Cunningham. If we do, great. If not, that's fine. But a guy that really I liked watching the Packers game back last week was Jacob Martin, a guy we got in the Clowney trade. Number 54, kind of a hybrid linebacker defensive end. But I mean, even if he doesn't make a play, I just love the way he plays the game in terms of his form. He's fast, he's quick, he's energetic. He plays with enthusiasm. I just love the way he plays the game, and I know I kind of sound like a coach, but I just get that vibe watching him on tape. I just see the explosiveness off the line. I see the eagerness to make a play even in a game that doesn't count. So Jacob Martin, I think, is a guy who still has potential to become a starting linebacker in this league absolutely, consistently. I think that I just hope he continues to develop in this 4-3 scheme. I hope he gets opportunities to play on the line and pass rush. I think he can do great things there. So definitely going to be watching for 54 for the Texans in this one. And defensively, another player, I mean, like I said, I'd love it to be Cunningham, but we'll see if he plays or if he does how much. But, I mean, also Desmond King. I really think that he was an underrated free agency signing. I'd love to see him return another punt. I mean, honestly, on that punt return last week, Desmond wasn't even running that fast. He just kind of used his blocks and found open space and just kind of kept going. He wasn't running like a Tyreek Hill level speed, but he got the job done, and I'd love to see Desmond return another punt. So definitely going to be watching him defensively. He's a veteran guy. Obviously, our secondary needs to be better than it was last year. Tackling was not there. Deep coverage was not there. So hopefully Desmond can be a mentor for some of those younger guys like Lonnie Johnson or even like Justin Reed, even though he's a safety and even though Justin Reed's pretty good, just kind of being a guiding mentor there. I think it's important when you have a team of a lot of young players like the Texans do to have a veteran guy at each position. I mean, you look at quarterbacks, we got Tyrod. Running backs, we got really, I mean, the whole room except for Phillip Lindsay has been in the league a long time, at least the 4 major guys. Receivers, we got Cooks. Tight ends, Aiken's been doing this for a while. So you get the idea, just having one guy in each room that can kind of be a mentor or a go-to guy. I just think Desmond King's going to be great for us. I think that was a very underrated signing. I think he can still make an impact at a high level and help improve the secondary. So definitely going to be watching him. Obviously, we don't know who's going to play for the Cowboys, but if, the big three play, love to see him match up against maybe CeeDee Lamb or something, or Amari Cooper for a limited period of time, honestly, or maybe Gallup or something, and just see how he does. Because I think Desmond King, while kind of at the back end of his career, potentially could still make an impact for us. So definitely going to be watching him. And let's see, we're going to go with one more thing to watch for. And for me, I think it is the Texans' run defense, because it did some good things against Green Bay, but again, this is dress rehearsal week. We might see some Zeke Elliott, maybe, even if not, Tony Pollard's still decent. I just want to see our run defense. It was a horrible, horrible thing last year. It was despicable. It was pathetic. But now I think with our new defensive scheme, again, just want to see. Well, I want to learn more about Lovie Smith and his defense and his philosophy. Obviously, he's been around a lot of places in the league and in college football. He was at Illinois for a while as a head coach. So I just kind of want to see how he goes about it, how we look when we're playing for the run, how we look when we're playing for the pass. Again, I think we're moving more players up. We've got a lot more players near the line of scrimmage now than we did in years past. I think we've got a lot more players, kind of up and kind of centered in the middle of the field, more players in the box. We're bringing linebackers up now, and then some of them will blitz, some of them will bluff and drop back into coverage. It just kind of depends what type of linebacker, like a guy like Jacob Martin, if you even consider him a linebacker, you might call him a D-end at this point. He's more of a blitzing linebacker, but like I mentioned about Grugier Hill earlier, I think Kamu Grugier Hill is more of a coverage linebacker. So you get the point. Just want to learn more about our personnel, learn more about our team. Again, obviously, we're rooting for the Texans. We want to win this game. But at the end of the day, preseason games are first and foremost about evaluation, learning more about your team, and getting better. So as Texans fans, we should just hope to obviously enjoy the game, hope for a win, but just also hope for health and hope for improvement and hope for progress amongst the young guys, and just continuing to see an identity be built among our team in all three phases of the game. That's what we want. And for the Cowboys, like I said, I don't really know what their game plan is as far as who's going to play. We're not going to see Dak Prescott, but maybe Zeke, maybe Summerall, the big three receivers. Maybe we'll see Dalton Schultz or something, or some of the starting linemen to put our excuse me, I'm filming this really late. That was a yawn. Yeah, I just want to see us match up our ones against the Dallas ones when that happens. I want to see it. And I'm just kind of soaking it all in. I mean, I know it's kind of vague, but I'm just soaking it all in. Just want to see who stands out, want to learn more about our new defense, want to see hopefully Philip Lindsay get some reps with the number ones, want to see Tyrod with more extended time, want to see him spread the ball around more. Chris Conley is great, but just want to see him use more of the offense. That's what he's going to have to do in the regular season. Offensive line, continuing to see who plays where, what combinations the coaching staff uses. And receivers, likely going to see Brandon Cooks get some action. Just want to see our wide receiver one, watch him. Nico Collins, I'd love to see some 50-50 balls in the defense. Just learning about who's going to be used where, more about our defensive scheme, what types of looks will we see when. And also, again, just soaking it all in, enjoying it. If we win, great. If we lose, it does not mean a dang thing, and no one's going to remember it. Obviously, looking forward to watching Davis Mills. Hopefully we see some improvement from him from last week, more consistency, maybe get that completion percentage up above 50, and hopefully no turnovers. So with that, I am going to wrap it up. I know it was kind of a vague video, but when doing a preview video for a game that doesn't count, you can't really get too specific. You kind of just got to talk about what you're hoping to get out of the game and what you're hoping to see from certain players. I did that. I named a lot of guys that I'm looking forward to watching. I will do a score prediction because I just feel obligated. It's a football game. I'm talking about it. Why not predict it? It's a preseason game, and I'm probably not going to be able to do this much in the regular season. So I'm going to pick the Texans to win. And since this is a kind of a little bit closer to a regular season game than some other preseason games, I'll go with the somewhat normal score. I say that the Texans win 27-21 because it's a preseason game. Why not? I mean, it's a preseason game. I can pick whoever I want. So I think the Texans win. I think the starters will come out there with energy. I think we're going to see I think we'll see Tyrod for about a quarter. That might be my guess. Maybe some other guys, maybe some other kind of fringe starters like David Johnson or some lineman or Kiki QT or maybe even Nico Collins. We'll see more. Defensively, again, our defense is just so different. Different scheme, tons of different personnel, different D coordinator. It's just I'm learning about our defense just as much as you guys are. Obviously, I know names, I know a lot of numbers, but as far as tendencies and ways certain players are used, I'm just kind of soaking that out all in, trying to learn more about our guys along the way as you guys are. So with that, we're going to wrap this video up. Texans, Cowboys, Saturday at 7 o'clock. I know by the time you're watching this, it's already game day at the latest, so apologies for not getting this out sooner. But I did what I could, so hopefully you guys did this video before kickoff. If not, well, hopefully the guys that I wanted to see did some nice things, and hopefully the Texans won. With that, Texans, Cowboys, 7 o'clock, Saturday night, August 21st. Preseason game week 2, the closest thing to a dress rehearsal, if not a dress rehearsal, for both teams. So with that, go Texans, enjoy the game, and feel free to comment, as always, any thoughts about anything Texans or football or whatever you have. Comment them down below. I'll definitely be sure to read them, and maybe I'll even reply to you. So with that, Texans, Cowboys, looking forward to it tonight. Preseason week 2, go Texans, and we will see you in the next episode of Texans Talk Tonight.